feature presentation.
He'll be fine on the mountain.
JB and Darren on the JB and Goldwater Show.
Line drive right field, base hit. South Carolina wins the College World Series.
Watson, touchdown! Hunter Renfrow.
He got him, and it's all over. Coastal Carolina rules the roost. They win the championship. And South Carolina has won the national championship.
The Senegal baseball team has done it again, but this time the Bulldogs beat one of the top teams in the country. They are giant killers. Get the ball to Bennett. He does.
Gamecocks are in the Final Four.
All right, greetings and a good Friday afternoon, and welcome aboard the JB and Goldwater Show, live, loud, and online, and very proudly presented by Monte Lee Rice. Causes, not just cases. MotleyRice.com. Driven by Stokes Volkswagen. Find them at StokesVW.com, and you can find us on the brand spanking new JB and Goldwater app. If you haven't downloaded it, I have no idea what you're waiting for, as we've been telling you for a week to do that. So do it right now. Don't waste any more time. Do it right now. Download the app. You can head to our website as well, jbandgoldwatershow.com, for more information on us, to contact us, for info on the app, and so much more. You can always find us somewhere. All of our platforms are right there on the website at jbandgoldwatershow.com. Follow us on social media at JB and Goldwater, individually at Sports Media JB, and at Darren Goldwater. The Share Healthcare chat lines, they are open, and you can comment in them, and Darren will make you a part of our program. And we certainly look forward to hearing from all of you and what you've got to say here on this Friday afternoon, because it is going to be a fantastic sports weekend with the NFL's big game coming up on Sunday, the Super Bowl. And there's some golf being played. College basketball is set to go. We're 1 week out from college baseball, and so much more. The Olympics are on. If you want to check those out, last night was a great night. I'll tell you what, Darren, I know you're not a big Olympics guy, but dude, it is hard to not watch those snowboarders run in and out of that tunnel or whatever it is. And
half pipe. See, if you're going to talk about it, you got to get the lingo down. It's a half pipe. It is. Look, it's fun. I enjoy watching it. I just don't care. I can't get into it and turn my attention to that right now, when there's other things that I do care about, like the Super Bowl coming up, and like college basketball, and Twitter blowing up way too harshly last night and stuff like that.
Well, and your health. How you feeling?
Getting there. I'm not like, I don't have my A game today, but I'm not too far below the B game, I don't think.
Well, that'd be better than normal, because generally you walk in with your C game.
Yeah. All right. So that's all it takes. You know, I was going to say something that I'm not going to say. It's got nothing to do with the show either. It's about some other stuff.
It's okay.
Anyway.
I'm a D guy myself, so don't worry about it.
Double.
But it's a full boat around here today. John Whittle is ahead in about 5 minutes, and we'll get to some Gamecock hoops with him and some baseball stuff. And Raphael Esparza, a full 30 minutes today from Vegas on the betting stuff this weekend with the Super Bowl. All the prop bets, there's like 1,000 of them or something ridiculous out there. So we're not going to be able to cover all those.
Over 2,000 on my bookie. I was talking with Raphael this morning. He's got over 2,000 of them.
Unbelievable. I'm really interested to listen to you and him kind of chop it up with the betting stuff. Obviously, I have some questions. Mine are more entertainment-based. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then at 1:05 today, we were scheduled to have Monte Lee yesterday. Obviously, Darren and I weren't able to get on the air, and so we recorded it. We've got it recorded, and we're going to play that back today at 1:05 with our good buddy, the head baseball coach of the Clemson Tigers, Monte Lee. And you will not want to miss the story about his pants catching fire. I'm just going to tell you, sometimes we pre-record things around here. None of you know. We'll just tell you that this one is pre-recorded, and we talked to him at length yesterday. But Monte Lee's pants caught fire in the dugout. You've got to hear this story coming up here in just a little bit. But first, it's Friday, and that means we lead off with the 2-minute drill. The Super Bowl 6:30 kickoff, but we all know when coverage begins. It began 2 weeks ago. Yeah, it starts at like 11 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. 6:30 kick, though, out there in Inglewood, where the Rams are 4.5-point favorites. The over-under in the game is 48.5. More on that ahead with Raphael Esparza. It was the end of an era last night for Shaun White, 3-time gold medalist in Olympic snowboarding. He finished 4th just outside, standing on the podium, and it was tough to see him go. He had tears in his eyes, but Shaun White's career now as an Olympic snowboarder is over. The United States, so they will continue on. They are 4 back in the medal count. They've got 10. Norway leads all countries with 14. Norway and Austria tied up there as well. Major League Baseball is set to propose a new deal tomorrow to the Major League Baseball Players Association. More on that in just a little while. They've agreed on a couple of things, and those are big news items for baseball. So we'll get to that a little bit later in our program. Clemson throttled last night by Duke. Nobody's talking about the score. Everybody's talking about the Wendell Moore hit. We're going to get to that coming up here in just a little bit, but the Tigers continue to falter down the stretch in their pursuit of any chance at the postseason. Purdue with a they were upset in a huge way at Michigan last night. Purdue, another top 10 team to fall this week. 1, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9 have all lost. And the week ain't over, boys and girls. They got to play again tonight and tomorrow. And the Waste Management Open is ongoing. Sahith Theegala right now is in the lead at 8 under par. By the way, shout out to softball. Softball has started at the college level. Clemson opened with a victory yesterday. They're down at the Florida Gulf Coast Tournament. And up there in Columbia today, the Gamecock Invitational is set to kick off with Carolina hosting Virginia, amongst others this weekend. North Carolina is also in town in Columbia.
Good for Theegala. He is in on a sponsor's exemption. He plays either at or for Pepperdine. The play was stopped due to darkness. I'm not sure when he finishes up today, but he's got a 16-footer for par on 17 to maintain his lead. That's before round 2 even starts. But kudos to him. It was an interesting day of golf yesterday.
Yeah, it was. It was. The Waste Management Open is a lot of fun. There's always a lot of drunks running around there in Scottsdale, Arizona, where they play that thing. So it's kind of funny to hear him yelling from the
they call it the arena because it looks like an arena, the 16th.
Yeah. They're always hooting and hollering and yelling all kinds of crazy stuff. I just saw this too. I want to pass this along. Just your date in history type moment. 32 years ago today, it was the shock the world moment by Buster Douglas when he knocked out Mike Tyson as a 42-1 underdog. You talk about some of every time generally these conversations come up in the summer, at least in sports radio, because you're filling time. But we always will reference some of the biggest upsets in sports history and things like that. And you always hear the United States and Russia and hockey. And there's, we all have stuff that we reference. A lot of people forget about Buster Douglas upsetting Mike Tyson as 42-1 odds in boxing. It kind of slips through the cracks a little bit. And it probably shouldn't, because nobody saw that coming. There are a lot of people that lost a lot of money that night. Probably somebody that won a lot of money too, though.
I don't know. I'd like to meet
somebody.
Somebody. Someone always moves money. I can still picture Tyson like crawling around looking for his mouth guard after that. I mean, that's one of those iconic images or snapshots of my childhood that I vividly remember.
Yeah, it was a moment. There's no doubt about that. Speaking of hits, one happened last night in the Clemson game. Wendell Moore went for a dunk after he picked the pocket of David Collins, and Collins ran right down the floor and upended him at the hip, and he took a hard spill. Collins got a flagrant and was ejected from the ball game. Did go over and issue an apology along with Coach K. Coach K was not happy, and Brad Brownell was not happy after that happened either from his own player. Look, we got John Whittle teed up to come on here in just a second, and we'll circle back to this here in just a little while, Darren. Was it a dirty play? No doubt about it. Should he probably maybe be suspended for a game or a half or something? More than likely. Do I think he's a horrible kid? No, I don't. He doesn't have any history
last
of
night.
this.
Yeah, the overreaction last night on Twitter was bad because most people weren't watching the game. They saw that one snapshot. They didn't see the embrace afterwards between he and Coach K when he walked to the bench. They didn't then see, because it was later, the apology that he issued. It was a dirty play. He deserved to be ejected. I don't think he deserves to be suspended. But if it happens, I would understand. I don't think the suspension is warranted. It was a dirty play. It was an unfortunate play. And in some ways it looked worse than it was because of how hard the hit eventually was.
Yeah, it was tough to see. There's no doubt, but he doesn't deserve some of what he's gotten. He did issue a public apology as well, kind of tried to explain what happened. But was it necessary? No, it was pretty stupid on his part and kind of how he approached it. He's been playing basketball a long time. He knows what's going to happen there if he doesn't decide what he's going to do before that happens. But yeah, some of the crazy stuff out there was nonsense, and it's over. It's over. So we'll see what happens to him here in the future. I know the present, though, at least on our program, has John Whittle in it. He's with thebigspur.com, and he covers every single thing you could possibly imagine at the Big Spur, and there's a lot going on these days. We asked him on short notice this morning, and we're certainly glad he accepted our invitation. What's up, John?
I can't believe Darren thinks that there's overreaction from people on Twitter. That's mind-boggling.
Unbelievable.
It's never happened
on Twitter.
Never.
Man, we're on different platforms. No, that's standard, I think.
Yeah, I don't think you're allowed to have a Twitter account or a message board handle unless you're willing to say something that is kind of ludicrous. You know, I mean, it's kind of the way it works.
I guess we all have our weird takes from time to time.
Well, hey, I was talking to someone on the phone this morning, and we just talked about Tyson a minute ago. Is this the 32-year anniversary, if anybody's counting, of when he got knocked out by Buster Douglas? But one of my favorite quotes ever is from Mike Tyson, where he said, "Everybody's a tough guy until they get punched in the face." Some of these people that all they have in their hands are phones or keyboards, they don't have any idea what it would feel like to get punched in the face if you said some of the things you say over the internet directly to somebody. But that, John, is for here for another day. So, all right.
One of my favorite Mike Tyson quotes is, "I guess I'm just going to fade into oblivion."
Yep.
Yeah. Smart guy, that Tyson. He owns a tiger, or at least he used to. All right. Speaking of Twitter, John, so yesterday, some great PR stuff coming out for the University of South Carolina's athletics department, and specifically for football and women's basketball. Of course, the football thing actually can be expanded because it is revolving around Big Gamecock Weekend, which they are naming in conjunction with spring game, which is also Easter weekend. So let's start with that. And I know that Coach Beamer, this has been in the works for a while, John. Now the news is public that they're going to kick off at night. I know Coach Beamer has and will probably continue to deflect a lot because Coach Tanner and Eric Nichols and those guys in the athletics department, the leaders in Columbia, have been thinking about this for a while, and it's finally come to fruition. Do you have a backstory here on the thinking behind not just a night kick, but making the whole athletics department a part of Big Gamecock Weekend?
Yeah, I think that's kind of just what it is want it to be a celebration of South Carolina athletics and not just football program, and get everybody together and fan morale is pretty high, at least with regards to the football program right now, and try to get everybody together. There's no secret that folks around here like those night kickoffs, and this is something new and could be good for South Carolina. So I think it was more of an administration idea to start out with, that that Shane was on board with. There were some concerns there a little bit, from what I understand, just from a recruiting standpoint and getting guys who are willing to come in. While I know fans like the night kickoffs and the atmosphere for those games in season is incredible, and recruits like to be a part of that. It's a little bit more convenient for some of these guys to come in for day games, and that's just kind of the way it is. And there was some concern that there may be some recruiting impact on that in a way in terms of getting guys to come in, but that's obviously something that as she decided to. I think it's going to be a really good day for the Gamecocks.
Yeah, I think it's going to be excellent. I mean, John, I understand Coach Beamer and maybe some of the staff's concerns with recruiting, but it will be offset though. And I know look, I don't think that the recruiting part of it, having a 7:00 kick, I don't think that's really that big of a deal. I think it's more the fact that the next day is Easter. So there's probably maybe some guys who might say, well, I'm not going to be able to make it because we got plans on Sunday or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, this was a about energy type decision. I mean, and this is what you're going to get there. The atmosphere and the enthusiasm in that ballpark is going to probably offset anything that could be at least perceived as negative. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I went back and looked, and I can't remember the numbers exactly right off the top of my head, but something like there have only been 2 kickoffs after 5:00, maybe in the SEC in the last handful of years. So, I mean, there's obviously some anxiety for whatever reason for SEC schools to have those night kickoffs for spring games. They're usually day games for whatever reason, but like I said, South Carolina is a school that loves having these night games. More so than maybe other places. Very, very vocal about wanting those night kickoffs. So, I agree with you 100%. There's going to be a lot of energy over there, and we'll see how it goes from the standpoint. South Carolina fans don't usually attend the spring game particularly well, so maybe this will bring a few more people out. There's always some kind of excuse, whether it's Masters weekend or the race down in Charleston or Easter, the horse race, whatever it is. There's always some excuse for South Carolina fans on Twitter and the message board about why they can't make it. Maybe this will be a reason why they can make it.
John Whittle with the Big Spur. Great point. And there's a lot going on. Obviously, you can head to GamecocksOnline.com for more. A 5K race will be involved. Baseball that weekend as well with Ole Miss. That should be an outstanding series in baseball, which we're going to get to in just a minute with John. A bunch of other stuff. I think there's maybe some tennis going on that weekend and stuff like that. Oh, yeah. And Patrick Davis will take the stage around 5:00 in Gamecock Park right across the street from Williams-Brice Stadium. So certainly looking forward to that. Tickets are free to get into the spring game under the lights. All right, John.
Big pause there. I don't know if you were going to go with Patrick Davis or the beach volleyball team playing on Friday. Both of those things would be worthy of the big pause and build up right there. But yeah, beach volleyball and men's tennis also going on that weekend too.
Fun fact, 3 years ago, I did a Gamecocks beach volleyball match. Is that what you want to call it? In one of the postseason tournaments.
I bet that was all. I like beach volleyball. I think it's fun.
It was awesome. Yes. Yeah. Yes, that weekend was big fan. I would do that again.
I bet you would. John, that wasn't the only big news yesterday. For the first time in almost 12 or 11 years, I think it is, the ladies' side of college basketball will welcome College Game Day. They're going to come to Columbia on Sunday, February the 20th for the Lady Volunteers and Dawn's Gamecocks at Colonial Life Arena. I believe the show begins at 12 on ESPN, and South Carolina and Tennessee will kick off at 1:00 on ABC. This is outstanding. Not that everybody now isn't aware of this unbelievable product that Dawn has built in Columbia. But now you get the signature show in college basketball on your home floor. What does that mean for the program in addition to everything they've already done?
I mean, really cool for the program. It's it can be a spectacle on there for sure. I remember Bruce Pearl coming out all picked up to support his list. I think that was back in '07 when he was all painted up in orange. It's really cool for Dawn Staley and the ladies. They certainly deserve it. They've built a incredible program that people. It just seems like there's such a fun personality within that group year in and year out, and I think that's part of the culture that Dawn has established over there. So those girls aren't robots. They got a lot of personality, and they're fun to listen to, fun to watch, fun to talk to. I certainly they'll certainly be entertaining on college game day for sure. I don't know what they're going to come up with, but they're going to come up with something special to do over there for those folks, and I think it'll be very well received on ESPN.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm anxious to see what they come up with. Does Asia Wilson pop in? What stars show up and show out in support of Dawn and the Lady Gamecocks? We'll see, but that's coming up here pretty soon. And they won last night, 59-50 up in Kentucky. They've won 10 in a row. They're now 22-1 on the season, 10-1 in the SEC, and they'll head to Georgia on Sunday. But on Saturday, the men are in Georgia. 2:00 tip tomorrow on the SEC Network. Derek and Casey will have it at 1:30 on the Gamecock Sports Network. By the way, Derek and Casey, or I'm not sure about Casey, but I know Derek will definitely be calling the ladies' game as well on Sunday. He's got an extended stay in Athens. Enjoy. There's going to be people peeing all over your leg and barking at you left and right, Derek. So good luck with that. But look, John, it's we know where it is. Georgia's lost 4 in a row coming into this game. I think they've lost 12 of 13. They're bad. They're 6-18 overall. They're 1-10 in the SEC. Carolina just 4-7 on a 3-game losing streak of their own, 13-10 overall. I've certainly listened to Frank and what he has had to say over the last few days. Frank's job is to keep momentum in the program and make sure his guys get the right message to go out and perform night in and night out in basketball. So, he's not going to take anything off the table for what this program can achieve here in the 2021-22 season. But I'm going to ask you, realistically, what are they playing for right now?
Well, I mean, if you're Frank and you're somebody within the program, you still feel like you're playing for the NCAA tournament because, at the end of the day, like there's still a little bit of an opportunity. I mean, you have at least 5, probably 6 out of your last 7 games. Do we sit here outside of the program and think that that's possible? And no, not many people do. But Frank does have to keep his guys encouraged. And, the point he makes is accurate, except for that last game against Auburn. You've got a whole bunch of teams in the kind of middle to bottom half of the standings here to close out the season. So, but it's going to be a task that I think is too daunting for this group. If there's one thing that we've learned from Frank, one drum that he's beaten since he's been here, it's tough to go on the road and win in the SEC, and you've got 4 of those games, 4 of these last 7 on the road. Go to Auburn, go to Alabama, Georgia and Ole Miss coming up in a row here these next 2 games. So he says he's going to learn a lot about his team over the next 4 or 5 days, which I'm assuming is going to include this Saturday at Georgia and Tuesday against Ole Miss. I think we know a lot about them. I guess 23 games into the season, and it doesn't look like a team that's probably going to be able to pull this thing off down the stretch. And then if you can't do that, you hope to get hot in the SEC tournament. And Frank's teams have just not played well in that thing for whatever reason, whether they're worn down by the end of the year or whatever the reason may be. They haven't played well in the SEC tournament, regardless of location, regardless of the year. So it's hard to get your hopes up for that. But it's going to be really difficult for them to make the tournament, and what I think is kind of a make or break year for Frank in terms of that regard.
Yeah, I mean, if they make the NIT, what would that, at this point in time, if they make the NIT, what would that tell you? Would they have to go deep in the NIT? You know, I mean, it's hard to sit here and speculate like about somebody's job, John, because you and I don't know. This is going to be Coach Tanner's decision. But I mean, if they make the NIT, what at least do you feel like the future of the program looks like?
You know, I think most folks have come into this year with a NCAA tournament or bust mindset, and you know, I mean, I don't think that's unfair, to be honest with you. You know, at this point, it's, you know, you're so deep into Frank's tenure that you know, you should have more than, or you should have a couple of NCAA tournament appearances over a 10-year career. But you know, it's there hadn't been a whole lot of positive at the Final Four run. Obviously, a couple years ago was cut short, and there was still some opportunity left there for him in that team a couple years ago when the season was shut down for COVID. But you know, at the end of the day, the finishes just haven't been good enough. But have to see what this looks like at the end of this season and kind of go from there. I don't think any real decisions, any firm decisions have certainly been made at this point. So you can always change people's minds.
I'll say this about that too. Yeah. It's not going to be easy right now, even to make the NIT. There's a lot of work to be done to get to that.
Yeah, they got to win. I mean, they got to win games. Good news is that they play Georgia tomorrow. At some point in time, Georgia's going to kind of crack through, but Carolina largely has owned the Dogs, and they got a great, I think it's a 6 or 7 game winning streak against them now. All right, John, I'm going to get you out of here within the next 2 minutes because we got to run as well. Quickly, though, a lot of talk on message boards and elsewhere about G.G. Jackson. Now, you know, one of the top 5 players in the country, maybe number 1 in the nation as far as a recruit goes, has a wonderful relationship with Frank Martin. What does that relationship look like now, and what would it look like, or I should say, what do Carolina's chances look like right now with G.G. Jackson, and what would they look like if Frank Martin was not the head coach anymore?
What the second part's easy. If Frank Martin's not the head coach, then Gigi's, I'd say 98% not going to be in South Carolina. I mean, but part of this is going to come down to what Gigi's actual time frame is going to be. You know, he's said before, or he told our site recently that it would be February or maybe March when he wants to make a decision. But you know, some people behind the scenes are telling me that it's going to be late spring or maybe even early summer where he actually makes a decision. I know he's also come out and kind of dispelled that he's not going to be a 22 recruit. You know, there's talk about him reclassifying up and being in the 22 class instead of 23. But you know what he does is his recruitment is going to come down a lot, I think, to what he kind of decides these next couple of months in terms of you know, when he's actually going to make a decision, what class he wants to be in, you know, and you know, just exactly what his high school future holds before college future. So I don't put South Carolina's chances very high. He loves Frank Martin to death. He would like to be a hometown guy, but Frank Martin's not there. That South Carolina loses one of the biggest attractions for his mindset. And I don't think any other coach would come in and be able to replicate that in what looks like to be a very short time frame for him to make that decision.
Wow, that is certainly something worth monitoring down the stretch. All right, John, real quick on baseball. Yeah, do you have an idea of what the rotation will look like next weekend for the Gamecocks as they open the season in baseball? And any injuries? I think we're going to talk to Mark next week here on our program, but anything that you're aware of at this point in time from an injury standpoint as the season is 1 week away?
Well, they're trying to figure out Julian Bosnick right now. He hasn't thrown well, and his velocity's been down. Some of his numbers have been down a little bit here these first couple weeks, and they're trying to see where he is from a physical, mental, structural standpoint, all of those things. And so I don't know that I'd put him in the quote unquote injury category just yet, but they're trying to figure him out a little bit, which will of course impact the weekend rotation, whether he's able to go on opening weekend or not. But Will Sanders will certainly be out there as a Friday night guy, and James Hicks is certainly going to be there opening weekend and in the rotation. And if Bosnick can't go, I think you're probably going to see Josiah Seitler in there in a starting role. It's certainly easier for him to go out in the starting role versus anything else if he's going to be an everyday position player. So I think if Bosnick's not able to go opening weekend, I think you'll see Josiah Seitler in there against UNC Greensboro.
Wow. That's big news there. We'll certainly keep an eye on that, John. You're, as we tell Derek Scott every time this time of year, it's about to get pretty darn busy for you, going back and forth between baseball and basketball. So get some sleep where you can. I know you won't this weekend. There's too much going on. But when you can find time, rest up, pal.
Absolutely. And I got back late last night from Charlotte going to see Daniel Hankins Sanford play. So got to mix in a little recruiting stuff as well. So good to see him play, and there'll be a story here on the Big Spur pretty shortly. Looking
forward to that. We will regurgitate it as our own information. That's what we do. We steal from you and claim it as our own, my friend.
I appreciate you guys having me on, and appreciate y'all being a part of the website.
Later, man.
Always. Thank you, John. John Whittle with thebigspur.com. Time for a timeout. Quickly, when we return, we fly to Vegas. Who wants to win some money and who's excited about the Super Bowl? Raphael Esparza will dish it all out right here on the JB and Goldwater Show, presented by Monte Lee Rice.
This is Mike Mazzell for Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road. You know what happens when you sell record numbers of new vehicles? That's right, we take in record numbers of local trades. Despite what the news is saying, quality pre-owned vehicles really aren't that hard to find. You just need to know where to look. Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate and on the web at stokesvw.com. We've got over 1,200 pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and all at a fraction of the price when new. Every vehicle has been inspected and reconditioned, many with the balance of factory warranty. Best of all, at Stokes Volkswagen, you don't need perfect credit to get approved for a quality pre-owned vehicle. And we'll take any trade in any condition, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy a car from us. You're going to love our pre-owned selection, I guarantee it. So come see us today at Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate or stokesvw.com.
Peace and love at Stokes VW.
Negative trade equity finance to new loan, subject to lender approval.
People don't like to get stuck in traffic, stuck in the mud, stuck at work. And two others you probably don't think much about: stuck with a big medical bill or stuck with a healthcare program that doesn't fit who you are. Experience true medical freedom with Share Healthcare. More affordable, more options, user-friendly, and biblically sound. You can join right now. Explore a new way to show you care with Share Healthcare. Join us today at sharehealthcare.com. sharehealthcare.com.
Wando Power Equipment, the trusted home of Hustler zero-turn residential and commercial mower. There is nobody more trusted in South Carolina than our friends from Wando Power Equipment. They've been providing elite commercial and residential service for over 30 years. Landscape Services have turned to their selection of Hustler zero-turn mowers like the Raptor. Bigger, stronger, faster, and the most durable Raptor Hustler has ever designed. Located on Daniel Island and online at wandopower.com. Wando Power Equipment, owned by the Price family, the home of Hustler zero-turn mowers, rentals, service, and specializing in family and friendship.
You hear me talk about Dog and Duck all the time, and there's no other place I'm going to watch my college and NFL than the Dog and Duck. They have 3 locations: Bell Hall, Park West, and Clements Ferry Road. They have specials all football season long, like $12 pitchers of their own D2 brew, $5 pints of Sierra Nevada, weekly pick'em sheets with prizes, and the best wings in town, bar none. For all your football, college, and NFL, the Dog and Duck, Clements Ferry Road, Bell Hall, Park West.
Monte Lee Rice LLC is a law firm with international reach, but it hasn't lost its Carolina roots. The Monte Lee Rice team fights every day for people harmed by products including asbestos and talc exposure. medical drugs and devices, and also catastrophic injuries and auto recalls, including dangerous Takata airbags. Motley Rice is headquartered in Mount Pleasant at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard. Visit motleyrice.com. Thank you, Motley Rice, for supporting the JB and Goldwater Show and the Big Gamecock Preview Show.
The JB and Goldwater Show, live, loud, and online.
I'm gonna keep on the run. I'm gonna have me some fun. If it costs me my very last dime, if I wind up broke, well, I'll always remember that I had a swing in time. I'm gonna give it everything I've got. Lady luck.
All right, 12:35 Friday afternoon. Welcome back. The JB and Goldwater Show, very proudly presented by Motley Rice and driven by Stokes Volkswagen. And nobody better, at least for our program, that we would want around here than Raphael Esparza, as it is Super Bowl weekend. I can only imagine how ready you are to get this thing over with. What have the last couple of weeks been like for you and my bookie, as y'all have pumped out thousands of prop bets, probably dealt with God knows what else type of chaos behind the scenes? What you been doing?
It's been a little chaotic. I'm just happy today's my last day that I will be officially doing Super Bowl prop bets. So I can't wait to 11:59 p.m. tonight. I might even no, I won't have a cocktail. I was gonna say maybe I'll have a cocktail, but probably won't have a cocktail tonight. But yeah, well, I think we're close to 2,300 prop bets right now.
How do you come up with 2,300?
What, didn't you open up my email I sent you?
Yeah, I did. I got about 5 minutes into it and said, whatever.
And that's why I put on the email, please use your work employees copy machine, not your work copy machine.
I am my work employees copy machine.
But then go to Kinko's or Office Max if you want to print that up. But it's everyone keeps on asking me, aren't you afraid of getting burned a lot by prop bets? Some of the prop bets get no action, some of them get little action. Some of them are for entertainment purposes. I mean, as I always used to call it, and I named it to do with you guys year after year, water cooler talk. I mean, so it's stuff like that, but it's fun. I tried to see how close I can toe the line on certain ones. It's fun I gave kickers and punters a lot of love yesterday. I did a whole bunch of kicking and punter prop bets. So it's fun to try to, think of new ones.
You thought of every one that there possibly is.
What's the one towing the line the most? The one that you could get in trouble for posting?
Probably not the Super Bowl one. I think the one that probably towed the line was the over under how many minority coaches would get hired, which everyone bet the over, and it's not even going to come close. Yeah. So I think that one was probably told the line on that one. But for Super Bowl, the halftime ones, really, I was not going to put a marijuana prop bet with Snoop Dogg and Eminem being as our halftime show. So that one probably caused a lot. Martha Stewart prop bet. Well, Martha Stewart show up at the halftime of Snoop Dogg. I think that one was kind of funny. Even though if you put everyone's criminal arrest records that's performing into the halftime, Martha Stewart has the second most jail time than everyone that's performing. So there's a prop. There's a stat for you guys right there.
Who has the most?
I think Snoop Dogg. I think might have. Yeah.
So who all is? I still don't know who all is it. Dr. Dre, Eminem, Snoop Dogg. Who all is it?
It's gonna be the best halftime show ever.
There's a lot.
You're not gonna be able to hear it. It's gonna be the whole thing's gonna be bleeped out.
Probably. It's Snoop Dogg, Eminem, Kendrick Lamar, Dr. Dre, Mary J. Blige. I'm hoping the hologram of Tupac shows up somewhere because you can bet that. Yes.
What if this is where Tupac, comes back?
Maybe Elvis comes back with them. That'd be fantastic. That would be great. But everyone's betting the next episode for Snoop Dogg at -$5. But how can you not take California Love with Dr. Dre at +150? I just don't understand how. But I'm hoping it's California Love.
And that's the first song, right? Not an anytime song?
will be the first song sung at halftime. That's
okay.
But we also have who has said the first word at the halftime show. So,
and what will that word be? Is there a prop bet for that?
No, that I could probably think of something. That one. I like Eminem wear a Matthew Stafford Detroit Lions jersey on stage, just because he's from Detroit. So I thought that was kind of an interesting.
Yeah.
No, he won't.
No, but why not?
Yeah, I don't think he will. All right, let's kind of reset the scene here. MyBookie.ag, for anybody and everybody that is interested and wants to have some fun. Raphael, if you go to the website, right on the front of the website, it says double your first deposit up to $1,000. So if Adam here decides, hey, I want to go have some fun and I'm going to plug in $50, that means that MyBookie is also going to toss you another $50. So you're going to have $100 to play with. Correct?
Correct.
All right. Up to $1,000 now. So, Adam, if you're feeling froggy and you feel like you want to go up to $1,000, they're going to give you $2,000. You could really, really make some money.
Adam, roll the dice and just bet the coin toss. Just see how your day's going to start really early.
Well, hang on. Yeah, because right now I think it's an anyone promotion, but it's popped up for me. If you deposit more, then there's a free bet on the coin toss itself. So if you just want to have some fun and you deposit a little bit, you're going to get that money back with your coin toss bet and then toss it around some of these props.
And maybe if you win, Jerry Rice will sneak up in your living room and pour Gatorade on top of you.
Oh,
or in your dream.
Is that a thing?
That's a commercial that Jerry is. I forgot what book is doing it, but every time he checks his phone, he wins his bet. Jerry Rice comes out of nowhere and dumps Gatorade on him.
All right. MyBookie.ag. The main bets are the fact that the Rams are 4.5-point favorites in the game. The over/under is 48.5. There's our post-up careers resume. The resumes of both teams. If you're listening to our program, I'll read it for you. Of course, LA comes in at 15-5. The Bengals at 13-7. The most combined losses ever in a Super Bowl between these two franchises. Against the spread this year, LA is 10-10. The Bengals 8-11-1. LA has scored 27.2 points per game to the 26.6 for Cincinnati. The yards per game, a little bit more for the Bengals, 341 to 329, basically, for the Rams. And the Super Bowl appearances, all-time 4 for LA, and 1-3 straight up, 0-3-1 against the spread, and the Bengals 7-0 against the spread their last 7 in games. That is the last 7 games that they have played coming into the game. That is a trend for the Bengals, who've not been in the Super Bowl in 33 years. I think 1988 is the last time they were in there. So that's kind of where we are. All right. Do y'all have information on what prop bets? And in just a second, I'm going to let Darren kind of take over this conversation because he's working to replace you soon at MyBookie. Do you have any information on what prop bets are getting the most hits, or what generally do that you're going to do those every single year?
Player props. I mean, the quarterbacks, if you have a named quarterback, which we have 2. We have Joe Burrow and we have Matthew Stafford, who have amazing stories. Stafford, who's been suffered by the Detroit Lions his whole career, now is on a new team with the Super Bowl. We have Joe Burrow, who just won Heisman National Championship in college, and now he's going for Super Bowl. So you have 2 really good storylines. So those 2 are going to get a lot of action. Odell Beckham's going to get a lot of action. Cooper Kupp is going to get a lot of action. So the player prop bets always probably get the most betting action. One of the biggest liabilities, I'll tell you right now, is we do not need Aaron Donald to win the MVP. He opened up at 16-1, and now he's 4-1 to win the MVP. So we do not want him to win the MVP. That would be probably a nice big chunk of our profits going out the window. But yeah, it's I would say player prop bets are the best ones. I think what the people like to talk about the most, maybe not put the most money on, of course, is a coin toss, Gatorade. Depends on who's playing at halftime. I think year after year, cross sports betting gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm kind of sad that there was only 2 NBA games this year, so we really didn't get to have fun with the NBA and the Super Bowl. We had a couple of Trae Young prop bets with Super Bowls, but I was a little bit bummed that there was only 2 NBA games this year.
All right, so I do need to squeeze this in as well, and this story has to do with the Caesars Sportsbook, but we all know who Mattress Mac is, right? And yes. I Raphael, I know that you are aware of what's been going on this week. Darren, I know that you're aware of what's been going on this week, but I'm not sure everybody else is. Earlier in the week, Mattress Mac, who's this big Texas business owner, Mattress Mac, he sells mattresses.
Yeah.
Has bet $4.2 million on the Bengals to beat the Rams on Sunday at SoFi. And now he has thrown an additional $5 million on the Bengals. That's $9.2 million he's bet for the Bengals to win the game. It would net him a potential payout of $16.2 million if the Bengals take home the Lombardi Trophy. And here's the thing, because he has to leave the state of Texas to do it, he made his wager outside of a men's restroom in Vinton, Louisiana, using the Caesar Sports app. It's amazing. So dude crosses state lines, throws $9 million on the Bengals, and goes back to work.
Yeah, and he bet money line. People think, oh, he bets the points or plus. No, both his two bets, the $9 million is on a money line, which that's why yesterday Caesars had to move it down to 3.5 for a little bit, which they got that money back because for every probably, I would say, million or six-figure bet that we are accepting on the Bengals money line, quickly we get a couple of six-figure bets on the Rams. So it's not like we're heavily dosed on Bengals money line. I think the Bengals money line bets is the reason why it's going to be probably either 3.5, 4, or 4.5 before kickoff. We're not going to see 5. We're not going to. Which, if you kind of think about it, if the Rams had any kind of home field advantage, this number is easily 5. But they don't. They didn't have a home field advantage all season long. Every visiting team that went to SoFi Stadium pretty much almost dominated the stadium fan-wise. So I think that's why the number is probably going to stay the way it is. I see 3 types of numbers by kickoff: 3.5, 4, 4.5. I would be totally blown away if we see -5. And I'm talking Hollywood would have to dominate the sports books over the weekend to move it to 5.
Let me ask you this: I've been telling people if they want to go Bengals, take them on the money line, because the numbers say, right, with underdogs of a slim margin, none of them cover without winning, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is why one of the biggest Super Bowl losses we took was when the Giants beat the almighty Tom Brady New England Patriots, because not one bet we took on a Giants plus points. They were all Giants money line. If you're going to sit there and root for an underdog on a Super Bowl, drink heavily, eat stuff that your doctor probably doesn't want you to eat on that Sunday, why would you root for a cover? You would want to root for the straight up W. So that's why you rarely see Super Bowls 7-point spreads and stuff like that, because we can always count on dog money lines because people are always going to fade to favorite.
Raphael Esparza with mybookie.ag. He is out in Las Vegas. Hey, when is Vegas hosting the Super Bowl?
Is it next year or 2 years? I can't remember.
I can't remember.
I can guarantee you I will not be in Vegas the year that they host the Super Bowl.
Do you have any information, just out of curiosity, of what the most expensive ticket ever purchased for a Super Bowl is?
Wow, that's a good question. I have no idea.
Yeah,
I don't. Prices are falling now, though.
Yeah, they are falling. It's a big time. I read this morning at the ticket prices at SoFi, and it's going to be 90 degrees in there. And SoFi doesn't have air conditioning. They expect the Santa Ana winds blowing, and the wind is not going to be nowhere to be found on Sunday. So pack some deodorant if you're going to the game.
It's going to be 90 degrees?
Around 90 degrees. Yeah, they have a heat advisory, I think, starting today and all the way through tomorrow.
Yep. I think it's the warmest. It's projected to be the warmest Super Bowl ever.
Yes.
That's very interesting. I don't. That wouldn't be. I wouldn't want to do that. It sucks. Let's see here. I'm pulling up some tickets. I think it was VIP. Oh no, it was right behind the Rams. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, they've fallen significantly. That's unbelievable. All the way down to, well, there's a couple of tickets still left. VIP section 132 behind the bench, $28,858 a piece. Well, the $97,000 ticket must have been bought. It's interesting. I mean, there's no way that somebody slashed the price by $60,000, right?
I bought it for you and your family to go to Super Bowl and spend the weekend in Cali.
Awesome. Thank you.
We're not doing that because the kids can't keep a mask on their face to fly, so you can sell it. Good luck scalping that one.
I guess that's bad parenting, not the kids, but that's
hey, you know you're a twin. twin 3-year-olds, they kind of in their own little world. You just
that is true. That is true.
That's kind of what they want to do.
All right, let's get to some of these props because Cooper Kupp over 106.5. That's getting a lot of love, and Raphael and I are both kind of leaning the other way. Why?
If you're looking at the game, if you're looking at the sharp money, not the Mattress Mac money, you're looking at the sharp money. They think it's going to be an under game, and a lot of sharps are betting most of these big prop bets under. I think Cooper Kupp, I think Beckham, or stuff like that. I think Odell will probably have so the defense are going to be focused on them. The Mixon, I think it would be a lot of under bets on them. I would look at the second and third wide receivers that have better games than these one. I would take the under on Cooper Kupp as the betting public has been doing it all weekend long. I think it opened up at 108 if I'm not mistaken.
Buy or sell Super Bowl props is part of our buy or sell segment with Jeff McCarriger at Carolina One Real Estate. Jeff.McCarriger at CarolinaOne.com. Darren, pop that back up there. If for those watching, obviously you can see it, but for those listening, here are some of the Super Bowl props that Darren's put on our buy or sell segment. You just heard the Cooper Kupp portion of this. Shortest rushing touchdown under 1.5 yards. Longest touchdown over 41.5 yards, which that could be rushing or passing. And non-quarterback MVP. That longest TD over 40, that can be any which way, right? Kick return, punt return, anything.
Yeah, and I like that over. I think both quarterbacks are going to get the ball out quickly. So I think we're going to see a lot of screens, screen passes, slants, quick slants. I would not be shocked if someone breaks one loose. I like that one over 41.5, and I like the under shortest one. I like that under one or under 1.5 as well. But the longest TD, I would not be shocked if we see a kickoff return, a punt return, or something crazy.
I've heard a lot of talk this week. When I first saw that, I was like, wow, of course it's going to be over 1.5. But how easily, just think, I mean, knowing football, how easily the ball can get to the 1 yard line. Spot, right, pass interference in the goal, inside the end zone, getting down there. I mean, it hits more often than it doesn't hit, right?
Yes, it does. Just like overtime, it hits a lot. We do not need overtime and a 2-point conversion in the same game.
All right. How about the first quarter? I found this quite interesting when I was looking at it earlier. Again, I got to about page 17 and said, forget it.
Slacker.
But the first quarter points total 3, 7, 11. Why 11 points? What is it about 11 that you've got over plus 150 exact plus 10,000? That would be pretty. I don't even know. How do you get 11 points? And then under it minus 200. So it looks like most of the money is coming in on the fact that both teams are probably going to score a couple touchdowns early.
What, 3 field goals and an Aaron Donald sack safe or 2 points, and then now it's 9-2 at the end of the first half.
9-2.
In what? No, that's a quarter, right?
First quarter, I mean.
Yeah. So how often do you see 3 field goals in a quarter? 3 field goals in a sack. Yeah.
We don't, but it's it's fun things to do. People,
put $5 on it.
Yeah.
Plus 10,000. How much money does that win you, Darren? Maybe I'll bet on that.
$5 plus 10,000
at plus 10,000.
A lot.
1,000 odds. Was that 1,001 odds? Yes, you win $5,000.
It's about right. Trying to do it in my head. Yeah.
I had a guy when I worked at Aria. The first year we did a Super Bowl when the casino opened. I think he played around probably 100 to 150 prop bets and bet $5 on every one.
Oh my God!
Oh, wow, that's amazing. All right, so let me ask you.
Must be nice.
So if you've got like right now the unders at minus 200 for 11 points or it under first quarter 11 points, the unders at minus 200, and then first quarter both to score no at minus 200. So where would you lean on those or on that? Both teams scoring, yes or no?
I would say both teams scoring. I think we're going to see under in the first half, over in the second half. So I would say under in that first. I think we see more points in the second half. So if that's the case, I would bet that under first quarter.
Weren't both Burrow and who did the Bengals play? The Chiefs. Weren't both Mahomes and Burrow, weren't they both under their passing yardage totals in that game? Weren't they both? Wasn't the passing yardage total 290 for each, and they both were under, weren't they?
I think so. I'll have to check back on that.
Mahomes definitely was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Burrow was too. I think he missed it by like 30 yards or something, 20 or 30 yards.
I like a lot of the Burrow stuff for this game because I think if regardless of how the game goes, I think Burrow is going to put it in the air a lot.
I like his rushing over. I think he's either 12.5 or 14.5 because he's going to be running for his life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's going to need big first downs to keep the Rams offense on the sideline. So I would not be shocked if his legs puts off a couple big runs to get first downs. I think it's 12.5. I don't have it in front of me. It's either 12.5 or 14.5. I like both numbers.
I think I heard this morning 12.5
for rushing yards for Burrow.
Yeah.
Yep.
What's the over under on sacks?
3.5, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's 3.5
in total, or against
the Rams.
For the Rams.
For the Rams. Yeah. Oh, gosh, give me that.
That's an attractive one.
That's an attractive one. Like I said, that's probably one of the ones that we have our eye on for that one, because let's face it, he got sacked 9 times about a month ago. So
how many times was he taken down in the Chiefs game championship?
I don't have that in front of me, but I'm sorry, the Rams defense is much better than the Chiefs defense.
And I don't think I think it was under whatever the number was. I think it was under. He wasn't sacked as often, nearly as often, obviously.
Interesting. All right. What is the what are some of the other stuff, Raphael? The national anthem, I believe Mickey Guyton is singing the national anthem. If I think I have that right. By the way, quick note: ESPN tonight at 8:00 releases a special about Whitney Houston's Super Bowl anthem performance. I'm actually going to record that and watch that. I'm excited to see that. Anthem prop bets and things like that. Where's all that? Is there a prop bet for how long the anthem lasts?
Yeah, we had to move the number because everyone's bet the over because it got leaked out. So now it's 1 minute and 42 seconds over under on that one. I like the aircraft anthem flyover. You can bet over under aircrafts flying over. 5 unders getting a lot of action on that one. I like her dress color. I like red at 4-1. Everyone thinks it's going to be blue at -150, but I like red at plus 4-1.
Why do you like red?
Red, white, blue. I mean, I don't know. I mean, she can wear that and then say she's not rooting for anybody, because if she wears blue, they're gonna ask her, "Are you rooting for the Rams?" Stuff like that. So I would say keep it USA colors, keep it red.
All right. Okay. And my final question, then I'll leave it to Darren here to wrap up if anything that's on his agenda. But my final question is, all right, let's say that we've got somebody watching or listening right now who they've never really bet much. Maybe they have here or there, but they're wanting to kind of just have some fun with the Super Bowl and all these prop bets and things like that. How would you advise them to do this? I'm not necessarily asking you to give them a bunch of free money bets, but like, how would you advise them with whatever amount, $50, $60, $100, whatever they're planning to have some fun with? How would you advise them to place it?
If your heart and who you're rooting for in a game, if you're rooting for the Rams, then bet stuff that you think that's going to help the Rams win. Why would you bet the Rams -4, but think Joe Burrow is going to throw for 3 touchdown passes or Mixon's going to have a big game and stuff like that? I would say keep your bets so you can win all your bets, unless you see a good value on something. But like I said, I always tell beginnings that if you like the Rams, then bet Aaron Donald to have a nice game, bet his sack total or stuff like that. I just don't understand how people mix and match where at the end of the day, they start grading their wins and losses and they either won $20 or lost $20 and you were cheering for pretty much for nothing. So don't go too wild and keep your bets kind of accordingly to what you're actually going to be rooting for in the game.
So that's why when I was saying Burrow in the air, I don't like Burrow over the totals. I like Burrow over in his attempts, maybe completions, but under in his yards. I like Mixon receiving, but not rushing. And another one that is getting a lot of buzz, McPherson, right? The young hotshot kicker over a field goal and a half. You like that?
Everyone likes that. So for a guy that bets, yeah, I like it. For the guy that's going to have to grade that at the end of the night, no, I don't like that. Yeah, it's interesting. And like I said, there's a lot of stuff that I think, I'm going to put the house on it or stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I'm like, that could cut down on my win-loss percentages and stuff like that. But he's got ice cold. I think the kicking is going to be. I think special teams is going to be a big factor, and that's why I kind of like the over. People again ask me, why do you like the total when the wise guys like it under? They bet the under right when it opened up. Because I don't want to see a horrible game because I have to watch this 3 or 4 times when I'm grading prop bets, and I don't want to have to watch a game 3 to 4 times if it's 10-6 at the end of the game. But I just think we're going to see special teams. I would not be shocked if we see a kicker or a punter throw a touchdown pass or something. I think we're going to see something unique in this Super Bowl, and I think that's why the game goes over.
How about kickoff? Is it going to be a touchback or not?
Yes.
I would say yes.
No.
I would say yes on that. In honor of Devin Hester not getting into the Hall of Fame last night, I would like to see someone run off a kickoff return or a punt return.
Yeah, but it won't on the opening kick. It will just be a kickoff.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a knee.
All right, and finally, I have not seen one. I have not seeked them out unless they've been played on TV and I don't know about it. I have not watched one Super Bowl because I really feel like they have screwed this up for about the last decade and leaking these things out and letting everybody get a sneak peek. I miss the old days of just cutting on the Super Bowl and watching the commercials. Have you seen any?
No, I haven't seen that one, and I haven't even heard anyone say, "Hey, here's the Doritos commercial already." I haven't even really seen or heard any buzz, which is kind of good because that's it gives me a little bit more excitement when I'm watching it. But no, that's kind of interesting. Yeah, you said that because you're the first person. I've done a lot of media hits this week. You're the first person to ask me, "Hey, have you seen any commercial bets?" I've seen this one already. I've heard this one already. I haven't seen that one that get leaked out, so it's actually kind of interesting that you mentioned that.
Yeah, I think that there's some on YouTube, but I have done no research. I don't want to see them, and I don't want anybody to send me one.
There's no buzz about them at all. It's refreshing.
They need to be funny again.
Well, all these people who say, I watched the Super Bowl. Whoops, that was not supposed to happen right there. All these people who say, I watched the Super Bowl for the commercials. Like, I don't. I generally don't care about the commercials, but I understand why people dump millions of dollars into them.
My wife does. She watches the Super Bowl for commercials and a halftime, and then she leaves.
You know what's funny?
Good for the women. Yeah.
I haven't watched a halftime show, and I can't even remember how long, and I'll be honest with you, there ain't nothing that's intriguing me about this one, so I'm not watching this one either.
The only thing I listen to in the gym these days is Eminem, so I'll watch this.
Yeah. Really? Yeah, I don't. I don't have anything against any of these guys at all. Just not my cup of tea, and more than likely I'll be needing to put my kids in bed around that time anyways. So sorry, Eminem and Dre and Dr. Pepper and Mountain Dew and all those other guys. No, not gonna do it. All right. Any parting shots before we let you run?
No, like I said, I just can't wait I can't wait for the kickoff. But at the same time, I don't want to watch it 3 to 4 times. I'm hoping there's a lot of easy prop bets. Yes, no, easy ones, but I don't have to watch something 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. But it was a fun football season. It was probably one of the most entertaining playoff season we've had in a very long time in NFL. So I'm glad for that. Hoping for a good game. But don't forget, it's just around the corner, March Madness. Corner, and maybe pitchers and catchers will report soon in baseball. I think Major League Baseball is going to ramp up their negotiations when Super Bowl's over.
I might want to get that figured out. There's certainly some news that we're going to get to here in just a little while there. Hey, and remember, golf's about to crank up too. The Arnie, the Players, the Masters, all right around the corner.
Tiger playing? Because that's all we talk about when golf. Oh, did someone see Tiger pick up a putter today? Woohoo.
Raphael, you get this close to getting through here without any problems, and you got to lay that at our feet. Great. Goodness.
It's golf's problem, not my problem.
Have a wonderful. Oh, by the way, and you're coming down here to see us in April, so this is it's going to be a wonderful spring.
April. I got an offer that has a bucket full of cash involved to maybe do something for Easter weekend. So,
well, yeah. Look, Gamecock spring game is Easter weekend. You come down, we'll take you in, get you a ticket, the whole 9 yards.
Cool.
It won't cost you a thing.
Can I stay at your house? I'll put the kids to bed. I read really good books to kids and stuff like that. The Daily Racing Form, stuff like Seabiscuit. The kids love me reading books.
Seabiscuit. Hey, have fun, man. It's almost over. You're almost to the finish line. Thank you for everything you do. We really appreciate it.
Take it easy, guys. Have a great weekend. Can someone have a cocktail for me this weekend?
Oh, I will. Sure. I got you. You're
okay. I knew you guys had me covered.
It's fine. Totally got you covered. Thanks, man.
Take it easy.
Raphael Esparza with mybookie.ag. And again, they'll double your deposit up to $1,000. And Darren, you mentioned they'll throw in a free coin flip bet for you.
Yeah, I think a $20 coin bet. I don't know if it's a refund, but it's a free play. So if you win, great. And if you lose, then you get $20 back in free play money. So, yeah. It's a can't miss thing. If you win, great. If you lose, doesn't matter. You still have it anyway.
Hey, it goes for some of those parents out there that like kids. No matter what, you're always a winner. Well, I actually lost, Mom, but you're a winner.
We went mini golfing last weekend, my daughter and I, and after we were done, it was pretty clear there was a winner and there was a loser. And I mean, you got to earn it.
You kicked her ass.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm the same way. I'm like, you didn't win.
I'm not trying to crush her. I'm trying to do the best I possibly can.
Look, man, that's what makes them better. That's what it's that fighting spirit. My kids are 3 years old and we play board games like Candyland. Oh, I won. I said, no, you didn't win. I won. Get out of here with that crap.
Yeah. Uno, Candyland, whatever.
Liars.
Monopoly. Don't. No. You're going to beat me if you're going to win.
That's right. You're going to earn it. All right. I think we've earned a break. It's 1:06. It is so gorgeous outside. I cannot wait to get off the air and go out and pick up dog poop and clean the concrete behind the house. So that's going to be exciting. But before then, we got Monte Lee coming up. This is a great conversation. We can't wait to air it for you right here on the other side of this break on the JB and Goldwater Show. Here in our backyard is Motley Rice LLC, a law firm that hasn't lost its Carolina roots. The Motley Rice team fights every day for South Carolinians who are injured while traveling by plane or bus, harmed by medical drugs and devices, or burdened by dangerous auto recalls, including Takata airbags. Motley Rice is headquartered in Mount Pleasant at 28 Bridgeside Boulevard. We are honored to have Motley Rice as a sponsor for the JB and Goldwater Show and the Big Gamecock Preview Show.
At Patriots Point Naval and Maritime Museum, families walk in the footsteps of our nation's heroes, the brave ones who risk their lives to defend our way of life. Home to the aircraft carrier USS Yorktown, USS Laffey, and the USS Clamagore, there's more than 1 million square feet of exhibit space to roam. White Glove certified, we have several new health safety measures in place to enhance the visitor experience. Come for the day and leave feeling inspired. One of the most impressive museums in the country, located right here in Mount Pleasant. Visit patriotspoint.org for more. We'll see you soon.
People don't like to get stuck in traffic, stuck in the mud, stuck at work, and to others you probably don't think much about. Stuck with a big medical bill or stuck with a healthcare program that doesn't fit who you are. Experience true medical freedom with Share Healthcare. More affordable, more options, user-friendly, and biblically sound. You can join right now. Explore a new way to show you care with Share Healthcare. Join us today at sharehealthcare.com. sharehealthcare.com.
This is Scott Glaze, head golf professional at the Links at Stono Ferry, located on the outskirts of Charleston, South Carolina. I'm inviting you to tee it up on one of the most scenic and challenging courses in the Lowcountry. Our back nine is highlighted with 3 holes that border the Intercoastal Waterway. Visit stonoferrygolf.com to book tee times and discover all that Stono Ferry has to offer. The Links at Stono Ferry is a former South Carolina Golf Course of the Year and is also home to the College of Charleston men's and women's golf teams. Come see us. We would love to have you. stonoferrygolf.com.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
Hi, I'm Chris Half, Public Information Officer at the Patriots Point Naval and Maritime Museum. We're home of the mighty USS Yorktown, USS Laffey, Clamagore, and Vietnam experience. And we're a proud partner of the JB and Goldwater Show. We invite you and your family to come see us and enjoy a day on Charleston Harbor. Visit patriotspoint.org for more information. And now it is my honor to present the national anthem.
Goldwater Show, live, loud, and online.
All right, welcome back to the JB and Goldwater Show. Very proudly presented by Motley Rice. Causes not just cases, MotleyRice.com. It's baseball season, as we all know. We continue with our college baseball previews, and we're lucky enough to be joined today by one of the best in the business, one of the best people I've ever met in my life. He's the head coach up at Clemson University, and it's Monte Lee. What's up, man?
How we doing today, guys?
Well, I'm not a college baseball coach, so I can't put myself in your shoes, but you know me a long time. So I'm probably almost as excited as you are that next week y'all finally get to throw pitches and swing bats and stuff like that, man. I love it. Love this time of year. What's it been like as y'all been getting ready to go?
It's been great. It really has. I mean, knock on wood for us, we've been able to stay healthy. Been able to get the guys out there. Our weather's been pretty good, so we've been able to get out and inter squad and practice a good bit and just kind of install all of the different team defenses and philosophies and fundamentals and all that good stuff. But the main thing is our pitchers have been able to build up their pitch counts. We've been able to accumulate plenty of at-bats in preparation for Indiana, one heck of a program. We're playing opening weekend. So, right now we feel really good going into our last weekend of team practice.
All right. Because you mentioned the weather. And as of now, Clemson, South Carolina next weekend is expecting highs in the lower 60s. That never happens for opening day. So no more, we can't speak about it anymore, right? That's it.
No. Let's go ahead and move on to something else, guys. We don't want to jinx that. So, let's just not talk about the weather if it's going to be in the 60s, because I certainly don't want to, bookmark this conversation and look back and say, thanks a lot, Jamie Bradford, for bringing up the fact that it was going to be in the 60s and we wound up having bad weather. So,
yeah.
No, I'm kidding. So, I mean, obviously we hope we have good weather, but the one thing that I will say when it comes to weather, honestly, we look at it every single day as baseball coaches.
Yep.
As a baseball coach, you got to be a psychologist for your players, an accountant for your scholarships, and a meteorologist for the weather. So, you got to do a lot of different things as a baseball coach. But one thing I have learned of those three factors, you cannot control the weather, so I don't worry about it a whole lot. Whatever it is, and we'll deal with it when it comes.
What just out of curiosity, do you have like a coldest baseball story, like the coldest day of your life, either playing or coaching?
Oh, well, I've had a lot of them, as you can imagine, when you're playing baseball in February. Some days that stand out to me, or some series that stand out to me in terms of cold. I can remember at CFC, I want to say it was my last year at CFC, we played at James Madison, and I want to say the real feel on the field was 28 degrees.
Oh,
I used to throw the first group of batting practice and when I was at the College of Charleston, and I can remember not being able to feel the ball in my hands. My hands were that cold. That was a brutal weather weekend. I think the high was like 32. So, I mean, and it was absolutely freezing, on the field that whole series. Here, we played at Notre Dame a few years ago, and we got off the plane, literally got off the plane, and it was snowing. We had to play a doubleheader on Saturday, 12 o'clock start, and it was in the 20s during batting practice. I can remember my best story. We played at Boston College a few years ago, and it snowed out in Boston, so we had to go to Rhode Island and play because it was the closest turf field. And they had a heater in the dugout that was spitting out a flame, okay? And I stood beside that heater because I was so cold, and all of a sudden the guy started yelling at me. And I did not realize it, but it caught my pants on fire. So it literally burned my left thigh. It melted my pants. I mean, there was a spot from my belt all the way down to my knee. My whole left, the left side of my pants was just gone. It just melted it. And so I told our pitching coach, Andrew Sess, I said, look, I can't make mound visits. Like, I can't take the pitchers out. You're going to have to do that today. Well, lo and behold, Alex Eubanks threw a 1-0 complete game shutout. I did not have to go out of the dugout, and which was great. So all I had to do was walk across the field, shake the hands of the coaching staff, and get on out of there. So I wouldn't have any further embarrassment from melting my pants off in the cold weather. So, yeah, I've had plenty of them. Over the years. You just understand that that first month of the season, you're gonna deal with some cold days out there playing baseball.
The good old boys from Lugoff, South Carolina, they get up into places like Boston, have no idea how to stay warm.
None. Yeah. No, I'm a fish out of water when I go to a place like that for sure.
Oh God, that's funny. That is funny, Monty. All right, man. We turned the attention to your team, and I don't know much about them. I mean, I know who's on the team and stuff like that, but this is the time of year where I'm trying to figure it out myself. So take us around the diamond. Tell us who you have.
Well, we've got some good pieces of the puzzle, just kind of starting behind the plate with Jonathan French and Cooper Ingle. We feel like we have two really good defensive catchers, and both guys can hit. The beauty of those guys is one's a right-handed hitter, one's a left-handed hitter. So both those guys are going to catch, and we're probably going to have some lineups where if Frenchie is catching, Ingle could be in left or DH, and if Ingle catches, Frenchie could DH. So they're both, that good of offensive players where they're certainly, going toward being in the lineup at the same time. First base, we could either play Caden Grice there or Briar Hawkins. Grice can also play in the outfield. We've played him in right, and we've played him at first. Hawkins can play third or first. Both those guys will be in the lineup. So we could run a lineup out there where, we could have Hawkins at first and Grice in right, or Grice at first and Hawkins at third. In the middle, we have a transfer, Ben Blackwell, who was an everyday player at the University of Dayton, 350 hitter last year. They're a really good defensive player. He's in the lead there at short. Blake Wright, who's a sophomore, played a good bit for us last year as a true freshman, plus defensive second baseman. He's probably in the lead there. But we also have Tyler Corbett, who played at the Citadel and graduated from the Citadel, transferred here. He's a very, very good player. We've been actually playing Corbett out in left field some with the thought process of trying to get both those guys on the field at the same time, because Corbett is one heck of a hitter. Third base is either going to be Max Wagner, a sophomore, played a good bit for us last year, or we can play Briar over there as well. So in the outfield, Chad Ferry, who's an older player, missed last year due to a hand injury. He's been swinging the bat very, very well. He's in the mix out in left field. Dylan Brewer in center. And then Grice could play some right. Another guy that could be a factor is J.D. Brock, who is a left-handed hitter, who's a redshirt sophomore, I believe. the COVID years have screwed me all up as far as kind of what year all these guys are. I just know that a lot of them are sophomores and they've been here a long time. So, but when you look around, I mean, we have a lot of people say, well, there's a lot of unknown players that are going to be playing for Clemson this year. And that's true. Some of these guys haven't been everyday starters, but they've been in the program. We're actually a little bit older on the field than I think people realize as far as our personnel.
Monte Lee, head baseball coach up at Clemson. But you mentioned a lot of guys that you can kind of slide in and out. I almost feel like the game has gone there much more in the last few years, Monte, and how you can have more interchangeable parts. How much different is it from, I mean, you've been coaching, whatever for 14 years. How much different is it now than it was then as far as having a guy that can play 2 or 3 different roles in your lineup in the field?
Well, you have to be able to manage. I mean, you said it best. I mean, I coach and practice and I'm managing the game, and you have to manage now in the game so much more than you used to. And the reason is because, with all the analytics and data and metrics now, pitchers have a much, much better feel of what their strengths are and how to pitch to them, which makes it harder to run a lineup out there. Say, for instance, like if you're facing a righty who's got an elite slider, well, he knows that based on his metrics, he's going to use his slider a lot. The game is not built around the starter that goes out there and throws a lot of fastballs, will spin a breaking ball and throw a changeup. They're throwing super hard with power breaking balls now. So it nullifies your ability, to run 6 or 7 right-handed hitters out there against a guy that's right-handed and throws hard with a real good slider. You have to be able to stick some lefties in there and vice versa. So I think that, what we're looking at and how you have to manage in this day and age is you want to have options when it comes to right-handed and left-handed lineups. But you're going to have, a good college baseball lineup, you're still going to have, 6 guys that are everyday guys for you. Yeah. And you're probably going to platoon, in 3 of those spots, 2 to 3 of those spots. And I could see us early on, having 6 guys that are, going to be our everyday guys, and then 3 spots that we're going to platoon some. And then we're going to see how those guys do in competition. And it'll kind of sort itself out over the first few weeks for those 2 or 3 spots. Kind of, okay, do we play these 7 guys every day and platoon 2? Do we play these 8 and platoon 1? Or do we continue to platoon because this right-handed hitter versus lefties and this left-handed hitter versus righties, the combination of those 2 guys is a pretty dang productive player in that lineup. That's how you have to look at it. In the same way on the pitching side too, you have to use your bullpen now. There's guys just aren't going 7, 8 innings as a starter anymore. If you can get through a lineup twice, you're doing pretty dang good, which means, a lot of times your starters are giving you, 4 to 5 innings. You've got to use your bullpen. So early on for us, we have to be able to pitch a lot of our guys to determine, who's going to be able to do what. Out of the bullpen, is this guy a long reliever, short reliever, those types of things. So, you have to use your whole roster in this day and age. And I think you see that in the big leagues, and, everything that happens in the big leagues trickles down to college baseball. So, people are playing that style of baseball now.
Do you like that, Monte? I mean, we just saw a lot of that, like in the playoffs in the fall in the big leagues. You mentioned the big leagues, and Darren and I talked about this a lot, how you would see these guys run out there and 3 innings, 4 innings, maybe they crack 5 so they could get a decision, but then it's a bullpen game from there. Snicker managed like that a lot with the Braves last year, and we felt like he had elite arms in his rotation. But as you mentioned, it's just not like that anymore. Is that something that, do you like where the game has gone in that instance?
I'll say this. I don't like it. I don't like it because I think the game overall was a better game with more offense, with more action when the starter went deeper. Okay. But you have to understand this too. There's a reason that there was more action. And it's because statistics simply show data analytics basically tells you that once a starter gets through the lineup twice, you should take him out, because third time through the order, the average big league starter's ERA goes through the roof. So that's what you're seeing. I mean, I guarantee you, Brian Snicker, who's been in baseball, for 40 years, he doesn't like taking his starter out in the second inning, third inning. I mean, he's a baseball purist. He's an old school guy. But the bottom line is you just don't see guys that can really do that anymore, and get away with it. And the reason is because, I mean, just look at the arms that they're running out there in the big leagues now. Those guys, they're thoroughbreds,
Yeah.
They're going to throw exceptionally hard for as long as they can. They're going to close out every inning. A starter today, his job is to be the closer in the first inning. If he can get through that inning, now he's the closer in the second inning. Now he's the closer in the third inning. Now he's the closer in the fourth inning. So everything is a power-oriented arm that's out there. Well, that guy's going to run out of gas quicker than a guy that's throwing 88 to 90 with a sinker, slider, changeup. That guy's a marathon runner. It's just a different animal. Kids are built differently now, and the game is more conducive to using more powered arms over the course of 9 innings versus, a starter, a middle reliever, and a closer. But I don't like it because there's just not as much action. We need to find a way to bring more action into the game, and it's just very difficult to do that when everybody that pitches is throwing 95 or better now.
I'm sorry, Monty, I'm not being much more specific about some of the players I know that you want to talk about on your team, but I know you're an elite baseball mind. I'm trying to learn as much as I can here. So what's it like? Like you get into you get into the fourth inning, the fifth inning, the sixth inning with your guy who's your starter, and you and Coach C are having conversations. Kind of walk us through those if you can about. And I get it. Every game's different. I understand that. But I mean, at what point do you start having the conversations about what's next and how much more leash he has and things of that nature? Just kind of generally speaking.
Yeah, I think the thing that you always have to do is you always have to ask yourself the question of what if. I think you're looking at the what if factor all of the time. If your starter goes out there, well, what if he gets in trouble in the first? What are we going to do? Okay. Well, what if he gets through this part of the lineup and we feel like this lefty in the bullpen is a better matchup when that lineup flips over, those two lefties come up? If we think that, then we need to be prepared for that, because what happens in the game is if you don't start to prepare for those what ifs when they happen, you tend to not do anything, and it comes back to bite you. So what I've learned over the years is, typically, and these are things that Andy and I talk about, is get that guy out of the game. You think the matchup is right to take him out of the game, versus he just got those 3 outs real quick. He looks good. Let's run him back out there. I've had that bite me in the rear end more times than I'd like to say, right? Where you run a reliever and he comes in the 7th inning and he gets 3 guys out, and your gut tells you, okay, the matchup is for us to bring another reliever in the 8th inning, but because your guy threw good in the 7th, you leave him in there. Well, one thing I do know is, when you keep doing that, that guy's eventually going to get exposed. Most pitchers pitch better with clean innings. When you bring them in clean innings, you don't want to bring your relievers in with multiple runners on base. It's very difficult. You see very few guys that can get out of those situations. So one thing that we do is we always try to look at the what ifs, okay? And we always want to be prepared for, if these 2 guys get on, what are we going to do? We got to make sure that the guys are ready to come into the game based on the matchup and where we're at. And if you can do that, you prepare those guys for those roles, and they have a good feel for, during this part of the game, I could come into the game and pitch. When I was a young head coach, I would wait till the guy got in trouble to get him out of the game. You try to ride that starter as long as you could, and then when he got in trouble, you bring in somebody else. And that's kind of how it used to be. Now, once that guy gets about 80 pitches, the numbers say he's about to get himself in trouble if we keep running him out there. Let's go ahead and bring in a reliever and get him out of the game. And it's those are the things that you learn over the years. It's probably better to get them out quicker than you think.
It's amazing. And of course, as you well know, Monty, if you ever can't decide what to do, just poll the audience. The crowd will tell you, and that's
exactly. Yeah. Well, it's always funny, because baseball, it's the woulda, coulda, shoulda of all sports, right? I mean,
yes,
I don't know why he left him in there. I don't know why he brought that guy in. I don't know why he plays that guy. Well, that's what keeps. And I used to get kind of, used to frustrate me beyond belief when people second guess everything you do, right? Well, that's what keeps people coming to the game. So, the baseball purists, the ones who are the old, the armchair quarterback, so to speak, the questions every move you make, well, they come to the games. So you want those kind of people at the games who, look at everything you do and scratch their head, and, they can't hit with 2 strikes. They can't get a bunt down. I don't know, their teams are terrible fundamentally in this area. Well, look, we work on all those things. But you're right. If you keep coming to the game and keep pointing those things out, you're going to keep coming. So, the more opinionated the fan base is, a lot of times those are the fan bases that come and support the team the most. So, I kind of like it that way.
Yeah, and you've been involved in a couple of programs that have very opinionated fan bases because they expect to win, and that's okay.
That's right. That's right.
Mont, before we let you run, I mean, I do want to ask you about your staff a little bit. Do you have a rotation set up? And how about Jeffrey Gilbert? How is he doing? I think we've talked about him now for 2 or 3 straight years. He's an elite arm. What's his role going to be this season?
Yeah, Jeff's done an amazing job. We've started him the whole fall and preseason. I would say that going into week 1, there's a strong likelihood we'll probably pitch him out of the pen because I think we need to pitch him out of the pen, just based on our personnel. We feel like England will pitch on game 1. We feel like Clayton right now is in the lead for game 2. The battle for the 3rd spot is going to be between the true freshman Billy Barlow out of North Myrtle Beach, and Nick Hoffman, who's been here and has pitched a ton for us. So those 2 guys, and Ricky Williams is going to be a factor as well as potentially as a starter as well. So, and that's kind of where we're at. We feel like we know 2 of the 3 weekend spots. There's a battle there, between Barlow, Hoffman, and potentially Williams as well for that 3rd spot. And then one of those guys will slide into the middle of the week. So we think Gilbert's going to be a big-time guy for us out of the pen. And he could start if we needed to. We have prepared him to start. So he's ready to do that if we feel like we need to go with Jeff as a starter.
What type of team do you have, Monty? Power, speed, those type of things?
That's a good question. I mean, we have a bunch of guys that are strike throwers. I think this is one of the better defensive teams we've had. I get the sense this is a team that's not going to beat itself. We have some power. I think we have a chance to be a little bit more of an average-oriented lineup where we're going to hit for an average and move the baseball a little bit more. But we do have some power. I mean, you look around the field, Ferry's got power, Bryce has got power, French has got power, Hawkins has power, Wagner's got power. Those guys can hit the ball out of the ballpark. So I think we'll wind up hitting our fair share of home runs, but I think we'll hit and run some, and we'll sacrifice bunt some and safety. And, we're going to do what we got to do to score runs. But I do think we got a team that's a little bit more poised, a little more composed, and a team that defensively is not going to beat itself, and a pitching staff that's built to throw strikes. So, I think the thing that I like is, the comfort knowing that whoever we play is going to have to beat us. We should be able to put a team out there that's not going to beat itself a whole lot.
Monte Lee, head baseball coach of the Tigers. Baseball fans, if you just look at the schedule and you look to where the ACC, where ACC play begins, or you look at the Clemson Carolina series, I wouldn't be skipping past Indiana. And I tell you what, after talking to Chad Holbrook a couple of days ago, certainly wouldn't skip past Northeastern either. They've got some front end arms who are going to roll into town on Friday and Saturday in mid-March to Clemson looking to win. It's a difficult stretch for your guys this year. I know you'll be up to it. Yeah, I do want to ask you about Heater. You've got him back in the upstate with you. Y'all spent so much time together down at the College of Charleston. He's a great guy, and he's an incredible baseball guy. What has he meant to your program since he's become a Tiger?
Well, he's doing an outstanding job for us, and he kind of helps me on both sides of the ball with kind of observing some of our individual hitters and observing our pitching staff and trying to give us feedback as coaches as to what we need to do with certain guys in their development. But also, he helps me with practice planning. He helps me with a lot of different things. And obviously we spend a lot of time together. We lift weights together. We deer hunt together. He's obviously he's one of my best friends. So, to have him here and be able to, bend his ear is a great resource to have, because you're right. He is absolutely one of the best baseball guys there is out there.
How full is your freezer? Did you have a good fall?
Yeah, it's pretty full. Yeah, it's pretty full.
All right.
Yeah, it's pretty full. So once fall practice ended and we had signed all our players, we did spend some time in the woods, and we did quite well.
I'm sure you did. You're not bad out there. So, hey, look, man, we've kept you long enough. All the best to you and your family. At some point in time, now that my kids are getting to the point, Monty, you've had all women in your family for years. Once they get to about 3 years old, they know more than you, and I'm figuring that out.
Sure.
Keep your phone near, because I'm starting to get to the point where I don't know what to do anymore, so I need advice.
Well, I'll give you my first line. What I told every one of my daughters when they started driving, and you'll deal with this here in quite a few years, but it'll come up quicker. My kids will still tell me to this day that, Dad, you gave me the best piece of advice of anybody when it comes to how to drive. And it's really simple. Keep your hands at 3 and 9 and keep it between the mayonnaise and the mustard and drive speed limit. And if you do those three things, you're going to be okay. And they'll tell you, just keep it between the mayonnaise and the mustard, 3 and 9 with my hands, and drive speed limit. And there you go. There's your first advice when it comes to how to raise a girl when they get behind us, because that's when fear's really going to hit your household. Trust me. When they start driving, and they're going to hang out with boys and friends, and they're going to take the car that you're paying for, that's when fear's really going to hit you, buddy. So I can't wait for you to be able to experience that. I'm over and done with that, and I'm really happy that I don't have to worry about those things anymore.
Hey, which one of your daughters videotaped that you dancing in the kitchen to the fight song?
Yeah, that was my daughter, Shelby. It was funny. She videoed me and did not tell me she was videoing me. So my wife, as you know, is a Rally Cats coach. So she's big into cheerleading. She was the cheerleading coach over at Bishop England. And, she's, I've got a family full of cheerleaders and dancers. So I was actually just, being funny.
That's him.
Happens now. Everybody sees it, and we can't get it off the internet. Save our lives. So yeah, but I will have to say now, the flexibility and the athleticism for my age, not bad with that kick. That kick's pretty good. So.
Dude, I when I saw that, I sent it to Smoke, and you could probably imagine what his response was. That was outstanding.
Oh yeah. I don't even. Yeah, we can't use those kind of words on the air. So.
No, not without his voice at least. Hey man,
that's right.
Thank you. It is so good to catch up with you. I miss you, and I really look forward to seeing you at some point in time in the next couple of months to watch you coach your baseball team, and hope you win a lot of games, Monty. I want to see you in the postseason doing well, brother.
I appreciate it, Jamie. Thanks for having me on.
Always. Thank you. Monte Lee, head baseball coach of the Clemson Tigers. He is outstanding. As I mentioned with Darren multiple times over the last few weeks, we have outstanding men in this state coaching baseball. It's incredible. So a lot of big ones coming up for the Tigers, and Monty will hopefully be leading them to at least 40 wins. That's typically the magic number, and we'll see if they get there. Time for a timeout. The JB and Goldwater Show. We'll be right back. Hopefully, you won't ever need legal help for a catastrophic injury or health issues from a medical drug or device. But if you or a loved one suffers injury or loss, Motley Rice LLC is a nationally recognized law firm that is right here in Mount Pleasant at 28 Ridgeside Boulevard. Thank you, Motley Rice, for sponsoring the JB and Goldwater Show and the Big Gamecock Preview Show. Visit motleyrice.com for more. motleyrice.com.
This is Mike Mazzell for Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate Road. You know what happens when you sell record numbers of new vehicles? That's right, we take in record numbers of local trades. Despite what the news is saying, quality pre-owned vehicles really aren't that hard to find. You just need to know where to look. Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate and on the web at stokesvw.com. We've got over 1,200 pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and all at a fraction of the price when new. Every vehicle has been inspected and reconditioned, many with the balance of factory warranty. Best of all, at Stokes Volkswagen, you don't need perfect credit to get approved for a quality pre-owned vehicle. And we'll take any trade in any condition, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth. Don't forget, we'll buy your car even if you don't buy a car from us. You're going to love our pre-owned selection, I guarantee it. So come see us today at Stokes Volkswagen on Ashley Phosphate or stokesvw.com.
Peace and love at Stokes VW.
Negative trade equity finance to new loan, subject to lender approval.
Wando Power Equipment, the trusted home of Hustler zero-turn residential and commercial mowers. There is nobody more trusted in South Carolina than our friends from Wando Power Equipment. They've been providing elite commercial and residential service for over 30 years. Landscape Services have turned to their selection of Hustler zero-turn mowers like the Raptor. Bigger, stronger, faster, and the most durable Raptor Hustler has ever designed. Located on Daniel Island and online at wandopower.com. Wando Power Equipment, owned by the Price family, the home of Hustler zero-turn mowers, rentals, service, and specializing in family and friendship.
Family vacations, a new car, a new boat, all cost money, but you don't necessarily have to make more to afford any of that if you can save cash that's flying out the window now. iHelp Consulting can help you finally get the kids to Disney World, upgrade the minivan, or drop that new boat in the water next summer. Let Daniel and iHelp Consulting consult with you. No fees, just savings. You pay them a percentage of those savings. Save on essential services, credit card fees, you name it. Let them find it. These folks are incredible. iHelpConsulting.com. How can I help you?
You hear me talk about Dog and Duck all the time, and there's no other place I'm going to watch my college and NFL than the Dog and Duck. They have 3 locations, Bell Hall, Park West, and Clements Ferry Road. They have specials all football season long, like $12 pitchers of their own D2 brew, $5 pints of Sierra Nevada, weekly pick'em sheets with prizes, and the best wings in town, bar none. For all your football, college, and NFL, the Dog and Duck, Clements Ferry Road, Bell Hall, and Park West.
Hey, South Carolina, what's going on? This is Patrick Davis, and you are listening to my friends JB and Darren on the JB and Goldwater Show.
Pop a top again.
Freak. T-G-I-F, T-G-I-F, T-G-I-F.
Finally, I'm free again. I got my motor running for a wild weekend.
Freak out, yo.
Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Everybody's looking for a break to the
Yep.
weekend.
18 more minutes, and then Darren and I, our Friday will commence, and we hope all of you are able to do the same. Hopefully Darren is feeling better going into Super Bowl weekend. And did you ever decide on – oh, you've got the chili cook-off, so you're not making anything, right?
No, I guess we have to be polite. We have to bring something, but I have no idea what that something is going to be. And if we didn't just have to be polite, I'd happily just go there and, I don't know, bring 24 beers or something. That's maybe what I'll do.
That is pretty polite, you know.
I mean, I think so. There's a couple Miller Lighters in the neighborhood.
Absolutely. You haul a case of beer to a party, people are going to be happy you're there. So, yeah, you know, all right. Well, I'll just get it out of the way. I have decided. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to have somebody's calling me, potential spam. I must have won another cruise. I can't tell you how many of these I've won in the last few weeks.
Potential spam. My most popular inbound call these days.
I know. My phone never rings, and when it does, it's either my wife, my mom, Michael Flint, or
people know better than to call me.
Potential spam. That's about it. My cousins, that's about it. So we're gonna have a family night, and we're gonna sit by the fire pit, and I'm gonna go ahead and put about a 12-pound butt on the smoker tonight. Probably around 8 or 9. Let it go into tomorrow, early afternoon, real low. And then shred it and make some barbecue and then put some aside and then do enormous thing of smoked barbecue nachos on Sunday.
That sounds fantastic.
There you
See,
go.
that you could make me a better friend if you were a good friend to me and made that for me, and I could bring that to my Super Bowl party.
Yeah, I'm not
Sounds
doing
great.
that, but
Yeah.
well, I'm going to be over your way on Sunday
Just a
morning.
suggestion.
We have a birthday party, so I got to get all the cooking out of the way. And anyways, so that's it. If anybody else out there has planning to make something for the Super Bowl, send it our way. Send it our way. We love food around here, as you well know. So send it our way. If you have not downloaded the app, download the app. Tell your neighbors. Darren, when he's at the party this weekend, he's going to be telling his friends who haven't done so already. Tell your parents. Tell your enemies. Tell your children, your aunts and your uncles, everybody. Tell them to download the JB and Goldwater app. You can take us anywhere. Make sure the notifications are turned on. So, like many of you already know, if they were on today, then you got the notification that Monty and John and Raphael are going to be with us. And next week, if you have notifications turned on, then you're going to get notified that both Mark Kingston and Shane Beamer will be joining our programming. So looking forward to plugging them in. Tony Skull will be with us next week as well. So we continue to get you ready for baseball season. So we're fired up about that. I think Mark is going to join us on Tuesday, and we have not pinned down the exact time and date for Shane yet, but looking forward to getting Coach back and talking some football with him. All right, Share Healthcare chat lines. Anybody else that wants to send us a note, do it. Craig, I see you. We have cocktails covered, handling this show. You are right about that. Can probably buy a lot of cocktails if you're in the SEC. Yesterday, Eastern Conference released 2021 tax documents, and revenues rose to over $775 million, 777.8 to be exact. That is an increase of $120 million from the previous year. SEC programs, or SEC schools, I should say, conference members, were each received almost $55 million. Ole Miss did receive a little bit more because Ole Miss received less a few years ago. That money was put into escrow, essentially, because they were in timeout for breaking some rules. And if they did not break any more rules for the next couple of years, they'd get that money back. And so they got the money back. So congratulations for the Rebels for getting out of timeout, getting out of revenue distribution timeout in the Southeastern Conference. Pretty significant chunk of change there. Of the power leagues, nobody else has released their info just yet, but as noted by Steve Berkowitz in USA Today, he's got a column that came out last night. I think it's actually in the paper now. That the Big Ten did have some stuff leak out a couple of weeks ago, and they lost over $100 million last year that was not able to be distributed. And I think we all probably should remember why, because of the Kevin Warren's decision prior to say, I don't think we're going to play football. And then somebody said, sweet Jesus, we've already lost $100 million. I think we should play football. So they did it, and it all worked out. But they ended up distributing much
slower to come back too when they did come back. I mean, the whole footprint of the Big
and they
Ten
had games canceled too.
Yeah.
So and remember, everybody lost money there in 2020, 2021 because of cancellations.
Yep.
And things like that. And prior to that, they lost a boatload of money because of the March Madness cancellation. When they say that they've distributed $100-something million more than the year before, part of that is the fact that there wasn't a March Madness year before, but also part of it, the SEC already had an escalator in their media deals. The Big Ten had an escalator in their media deals, but they didn't play a bunch of games. So that kind of dropped, and that was from the fall of 2020. So good news for the SEC.
The thing to keep an eye on with this number from the SEC, my guess is it will be topped twice, because the Big Ten will go back to the negotiating table after next calendar year. That'll probably top this, and then the SEC redoes theirs, and that'll top that one again. So this is a mind-blowing number, and just get ready to wrap your minds around what's coming next to both of those two leagues.
Yeah, when the so the SEC, I think it was 2 years ago, renegotiated with ESPN for hoops and for football, and that's right around $300 million a year, little above it. But let's all also remember that's going to be renegotiated because of the CBS deal, which right now pays them $55 million a year, Darren, I believe, for 14 weeks. And they've stepped out of the negotiations, as you've pointed out before. So that we know of. I mean, I don't think they're still really at the table for the amount of money they're going to need to spend to keep it. So it looks like Disney is going to be directly in line to absorb that, but they're going to have to pay for it, and they will. And yeah, so you're going to be, that next deal is going to put the SEC into the $1 billion. It won't be in the $1 billion range. It'll be over $1 billion. I mean, that's going to be a significant deal.
Yeah, and right before that happens, the Big Ten negotiation, there are a lot of speculators out there right now about where this is going to go. ESPN is now being really public about how important the Big Ten is to ESPN. That's a bargaining chip right now, bargaining chip. It's a play at the negotiating table, because there is some thought that the Big Ten could largely move away from ESPN, with CBS and Fox throwing major dollars, because if CBS really does want to remain a player, and they've got March Madness and Turner, and they don't want to just go away, CBS could take some of that SEC chunk and say, hey, now we've got a game of the week for the Big Ten. So it's something to keep an eye on with the Big Ten.
Absolutely. It's going to be changing so much. Everything's changing. I mean, the SEC's bringing in Oklahoma. They're bringing in Texas. I mean, obviously, when that deal gets renegotiated, those two schools and their markets that will come with them, it's going to be outrageous. I mean, I'm being serious when I say this. It's 2022, $777 million, Darren. You could almost say that in 5 years, because of renegotiated deals and already the escalators that are in the current deal, like the money keeps going up every year anyways, and then they're going to renegotiate. I would almost say that number, at least in the Southeastern Conference, I don't know enough about the others, I'm only speaking to the SEC, will be, if not all the way, close to double what it is, 1.5 billion type stuff. Serious. I mean, it's because what they're gonna do is they're going to sign an astronomical deal. It's going to be of great length. Like they're gonna, especially if ABC gets to the table where they're basically by themselves, they're going to say, let's lock it in for as long as we can, 10 years, whatever it is. And the SEC is going to say, well, if you want us to lock it in for that amount of time, and other leagues will do this too. The Pac-12 is going to end up getting a good deal because they know how to negotiate. That new dude is good. And the Big Ten, all these, but the SEC, with what's coming into it, the fact that the CBS is out, they got Texas and Oklahoma coming in. If you're going to want to lock them down for a decade, we all know what's going to happen. They're going to say, fine, but you are absolutely going to pay for it. If not, then we're going to come back to a shorter deal here.
Yeah, I think the next deal should, most of the projections are right around $1 billion. So that's somewhere in between halfway of the 5-year plan right there. And then what happens with the playoffs? So that's another thing to keep in mind, because and I don't know if the playoffs would be included in this money or not, but look, when that gets renegotiated, everyone's getting a whole lot more money. So can they get to 1.5 billion by that point? You know what? Let's stretch it out. Let's say, because that goes in 26. So maybe 5 years.
As of now, yeah.
Yeah, right. If it makes it that far, then 5 years, if you just up the media rights for a league and then throw in the additional playoff money.
How much do you think Fox is going to influence all of this? I have a feeling. Yeah, I agree with you. I think people, and I get it, because Fox is traditionally not a player in college football. I mean, they have become one, but I mean, they're not one of the CBS and ESPN, ABC, all this. We know that. And ESPN has the ACC network, the SEC network. But something tells me Fox is gearing up for something we probably aren't thinking about or feeling at this point in time. And then there's going to be something laid on the table, maybe in conjunction with the Big Ten and the Pac-12, and then like some type of major offer to snag everything as it pertains to the college football playoff.
I don't know if they could snag everything with the playoff, but that's something like I was alluding to with the Big Ten, because the deal with ESPN and the Big Ten is a split deal with Fox. Fox is already moving into a bigger footprint with football with their big noon kickoff, and as tight as they are with the Pac-12, they're going to stay very tight with them. Keep an eye on them with the Big 12 as well, because their media deal isn't good, and it's going to be hard to get a really good one, but just keep an eye on that. But there is a thought that, hey, the Big Ten would have a CBS Fox joint bid. And because of that, that's one of the reasons ESPN's coming out and saying, well, they're really important to us, which is obvious. They should be. It's the second most marketable conference behind the SEC right now. So that's one of the reasons you've heard that right now is the possibility that Fox and CBS are preparing for a massive, massive bid at the Big Ten.
Maybe. It's all, Darren, everything we're thinking and projecting, we're probably all wrong. You never know what's going on behind the scenes, but I'm with you. I think there's everybody assumes that ESPN is going to absorb everything, and I think they will absorb a lot, especially with the SEC deal. But the landscape of college football in general, those other guys, they're not going away.
Yeah, the playoff will spread it out. The playoff will spread out that love.
Yeah, they need an NFL deal. They need to rotate that thing, and every year somebody gets a crack at hosting the big game.
More money for everyone.
No doubt. Real quick here, Major League Baseball, the Players Association is expected to receive a proposal from the league tomorrow. We'll see how close that gets them. Right now, they're backing up spring training a little bit. Rob Manfred has said they absolutely have to have 4 weeks to prepare for the season. And Players Association is saying, well, it's up to you. Figure it out. They have agreed at least on two things. For those that may have missed this, one is that there will be coming soon a Major League Baseball draft lottery. And they're doing that in an effort to prevent tanking. Basically, the Orioles or, we've only won 40 games. We got 40 games left. Yeah, it's over. Just lose them all. So that's kind of why that is. The other, though, is a universal DH will be as expected in both leagues. And that is going to change the market dramatically for a few players out there who maybe are kind of looking for a home, can't find one. Now you got 15 other teams saying, well, we can sign you, and all we need you to do is swing the stick. Mm-hmm. So the market, and there is a backstory to that in these negotiations as well, where the market's going to change a little bit. And so, the Players Association is fighting for that, and we'll see how close they get to it. But a proposal expected tomorrow, and maybe some news in the next few days about when spring training could crank up. So hopefully that'll be sooner than later.
Yeah, that market changing is going to be great for the players. I saw something right after that news broke about how Juan Soto's value is going up. I mean, that contract's coming, I think, in 2 years, but now it's going up, and it's already just nuts. But the fact of, hey, if we sign you for 10 years, you can be a DH. It's so that think stars today and think stars of the past who are still valuable in certain roles. It's impacting the whole spectrum with this move.
I agree. It's about to change a lot. And finally, this is not changing. Brian Harsin is staying at Auburn. An official announcement is expected soon. Unbelievable turn of events here. And it's not to me unbelievable that he is still going to be the head coach or anything like that. I don't know enough. So if you ask me what's my opinion, I would say my opinion is shocking that after everything that's happened that he is still the head coach, but I don't know that he shouldn't be the head coach. So we're going to get more, Darren. I'll say this, can't speak internally, right? We're not inside the program. Don't know what that's going to look like moving forward. But certainly externally, I don't know how you combat perception versus reality. I just don't, because they're going to be recruited against ridiculously with this. I guess the transfer portal helps, right? Hey, look, if you don't trust me that I'm going to be here for 5 years, you can transfer. That's what the portal's there for, or whatever the case is. But wow, it's just been chaotic down there. So Monday, I'm sure we're going to have much more to say on this Brian Harsin issue.
Yeah, that was well said. I don't know if he doesn't deserve to be back, right? Because we don't know what they found or did not find. Right. I am shocked he's back, though. I am shocked that he's back.
I'm shocked he wants to be back. If I was Brian Harsin, if there's anybody from a booster standpoint that is basically attempted this coup essentially to get him out of town, I would be out for blood. I'd be out for blood, man. But apparently he's going to be the head coach. So, all right, everybody, have a wonderful Super Bowl weekend. Thanks to Monte Lee, John Whittle, Raphael Esparza, Darren Goldwater, and all of you for watching and listening to our program. Make sure you tell everybody you know to download the app. Take us anywhere. Any market you're in, we're in. That's what the app's for. It's free. Download it into your phone. You can watch and listen to us daily. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And we can't wait to be back next week. Shane Beamer will join us. Mark Kingston will join us. Tony Skoll will join us amongst all of our weekly guests. So we look forward to that. Until then, go to the Dog and Duck. They're going to be partying for the Super Bowl all weekend and watching hoops as well. See you Monday at noon on the JB and Goldwater Show.